June 2020, Monday 8. Edexcel Mathematics Paper 3, Calculator and Higher Tier. There's a higher tier paper 3, and it's for 1 hour 30 minutes. Important things to remember: answer all questions, show all your working. Total mark for this paper is 80, and keep an eye on the time. So 80 marks divided by 90 minutes means 53 1/3 seconds per mark. So 1 mark is for 53 1/3 seconds. Question number 1. Simplify n cubed times n to the power 5. Simplify 1b. C cubed d to 4 over c squared d, and part C, solve 5x over 2 is greater than 7. So the way we do this type of question is the base is the same, n and n, so we add the power. So n and n is the same, the base is the same, you add the power. One of the laws of indices. So 3 plus 5, it gives you 8. So your answer is n to the power 8. 1b, simplify. C cubed is the same as c times c times c. D to the power 4 is the same as d times d times d times d. In the denominator, c squared is the same as c times c, and then there's d. You look at the numerator and the denominator and cross out what is found in both of them, or cancel them. So there's c and c and c and c. You cross them out, and you cross out the d as well. So what are you left with? You're left with 3d at the top and 1c. So it's written as cd cubed, and that's your answer. Part C, solve 5x divided by 2 is greater than 7. So what you do is divide by 2 on the left, you take it to the right, it becomes times 2. So 5x is greater than 7 times 2 is 14. Now it's 5 times x, so take it to the other side, it becomes divide. So x is greater than 14 divided by 5. And 14 divided by 5, you can write it as 2 and 4 over 5, or 2.8. So x is greater than 14 over 5. You can leave it like that. Question number 2. Andy cycles a distance of 30 kilometers at an average speed of 24 kilometers per hour. He runs a distance of 12 kilometers at an average speed of 8 kilometers per hour. Work out the total time Andy takes. Give your answer in hours and minutes. To do this type of question, I first of all highlight the important information. I highlight the 30 kilometers and the 24 kilometers per hour, which is the speed. I highlight the distance of 12 kilometers, and I highlight the speed of 8 kilometers per hour. And I highlight the total time which we have to work out, and we give the answer in hours and minutes. I highlight that as well. On the right hand side, I've given you some formula which you must remember this formula. Speed is distance divided by time. So if you remember the first triangle, you can cover it to work out the other ones. So the way I memorize speed is distance divided by time. I could say S for sausages, D for don't, T for talk. So it's something mnemonic, something which is funny. Sausages don't talk. That's how I remember it. Or you draw the triangle as it is. So for the cycling, doing the cycles, the time. To work out the time, you cover T is distance divided by speed. The distance is 30. The speed is 24. So 30 divided by 24 is 1.25 hours. Doing the running, time is distance divided by speed. The distance is 12 kilometers and the speed is 8 kilometers per hour. So 12 divided by 8 is 1.5 hours. Now you want to find the sum of their 2 times. So we add 1.25 plus 1.5. 1.25 plus 1.5. It gives you 2.75 hours. Or is 165 minutes. Because if you multiply 0.75 times 60, it gives you 45 minutes. So it is 2 hours and 45 minutes, because they want your answer in hours and minutes. Question number 3. A number m is rounded to 1 decimal place. The result is 9.4. Complete the error interval for m. So if we have 9.4 in the middle, you ask yourself, what numbers can you round to get 9.4? It's 9.4 to 1 decimal place. So you want a number which is to 2 decimal place. You want something to 2 decimal place. So you can round 9.35 to 9.4. Because if you put a line after the 3, this 5, you change it to 1 and add it to 3, becomes 4. So 9.35, you can round it to 4. On the other side, what can you round to 9.4? You can round 9.4444 carried on, but by convention, we just write it as 9.45. So we can say 9.499999. You just write 9.45. You can round it to 4. So what you can say is 9.35, you can round it to 9.4. And you notice the sign less than or equals to. That means it includes the 9.35. And then when you round it, it's less than 9.45, because it is 9.45 would round to 9.5. So it is a number which is below 9.45. It's 9.49999 carries on. So that's why we have this sign less than. It is not 9.45. So you write it as 9.35 less than or equals to 9.45. That means it includes 9.35, but does not include 9.45. It includes a number just below 9.45. Question number 4. Maisie knows that she needs 3 kilograms of grass seed to make a rectangular lawn 5 meters by 9 meters. Grass seed is sold in 2 kilogram boxes. Maisie wants to make a rectangular lawn 10 meters by 14 meters. She has 5 boxes of grass seed. Has Maisie got enough grass seed to make a lawn 10 meter by 14 meter? You must show all your working. To do this question, I first of all highlight all the important numbers. 3 kilograms of grass seed, 5 meters by 9 meters, 2 kilogram boxes, 10 meters by 14 meters, and 5 boxes of grass seed. So when you do that in the exam, as an examiner, I see students do that. They underline it with their pencil. Some highlight it, some students highlight it. It's very important for you. It helps you to see it, what you're doing. And if you come back to check your work, you can quickly see the numbers. You don't have to go reading every single sentence again. So the way we want to do is we want to do 5 times 9. It gives you 45 meters squared. So 5 times 9, 45 meters squared. And then for rectangular lawn, 14 times 10. It gives you 140 meters squared. And we want 5 times 2, which will give us 10 kilograms. So we want the ratio of areas. So 140 divided by 45, it gives you 3.1 recurring. So the amount of seed needed, 140 divided by 45 times 3. So it gives you 9.3 kilograms. Has Maisie got enough grass seed to make a lawn 10 by 14 meters? The answer is yes, because 9.3 kilograms is less than 10 kilograms. So she has 10 kilograms and needs only 9 kilograms. Macy opens the 5 boxes of grass seed. She finds that 4 of the boxes contain 2 kilograms of grass seeds. The other box contains 1 kilogram of grass seed. Does this affect whether Macy has enough grass seed to make her lawn? Give a reason for your answer. Yes, she does not have enough seed. She has 9 kilograms and needs 9.3 kilograms. So this is how you do a question like this for question 4. Highlight all the important numbers and work them out step by step, and then you make your conclusion. So the part B, yes, she does not have enough seed. She has now 9 kilograms. And what does she need? She needs 9.3. From the calculation, you need 9.3. So making that changes, she wouldn't have enough. Question number 5. Amanda has 2 fair 3-sided spinners. Amanda spins each spinner once. Complete the probability tree for part A. And for part B, work out the probability that spinner A lands on 2 and spinner B does not land on 2. So to do this type of question, okay, for example, I've colored spinner A and I've colored spinner B. Complete the probability tree diagram. It's fair. So probability that it lands on 2 for spinner A is 1 out of 3, because there's one of them out of 3. And then the probability that it does not land on 2 is 2 out of 3, because there's 2 numbers that are not 2, 1 or 3. So it's 2 out of 3. You go to spinner B. Probability that it lands on 2 is 1 out of 3, because 1, 2 out of the 3 chances. Probability that it does not land on 2 is 2 chances, 2 out of 3. And you go to, when it does not land on 2, you go to, for spinner B, probability that it lands on 2 is 1 out of 3, stays the same. Probability that it does not land on 2 is 2 out of 3. And that's how you complete that probability tree diagram. Part B says, work out the probability that the spinner A lands on 2 and spinner B does not land on 2. So if you look on the probability tree diagram, spinner A lands on 2 and spinner B does not land on 2. So it is 1 over 3 times 2 over 3. Following that path, you multiply as you go along. So 1 times 2 is 2, 3 times 3 is 9. So the probability is 2 over 9. Question number 6. Use these graphs to solve the simultaneous equation, the 2 graphs above. To solve the simultaneous equation, you look for where the 2 graphs meet. They meet at this point there. So the point where the 2 graphs meet is the solution. So that point there is minus 2, and you go up 4. So that point is minus 2, 4. Minus 2, 4. That's the point there. Minus 2, 4. That's where they meet. And that's the solution to the simultaneous equation. Part B, use this graph to find an estimate for the solutions of the quadratic equation. So you got the graph at the top there. You want to find the solution estimate for the solution of the quadratic equation, x squared minus 4x plus 2 equals to 0. So it is called an estimate because you wouldn't get an exact answer because the graph is not perfect. And solution of a quadratic equation is where it crosses the x-axis. This is the x-axis I've drawn there in red, and solution is where the curve crosses the x-axis. And you can see it crosses the x-axis at 2 points. And we want to find those 2 points to give you the solution. So if you zoom in, this point there is 0.6, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6. So 0.6. And when you zoom into the other side, 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, the other point is 3.4. So your two answers are 0.6 and 3.4. And it would be an estimate because you might not have the opportunity to be able to zoom in the exams. So you would read it as close as you can, and you have a range where if the answer has to be in it for you to get the mark. So as an examiner, they would give you a couple of decimal places where you can get a range for the answers because you wouldn't be able to zoom in to see the exact value as I've done. Question number 7. There is a total of 45 boys and girls in a choir. The mean age of the 18 boys is 16.2 years. The mean age of the 27 girls is 16.7 years. Calculate the mean age of all 45 boys and girls. I highlight all the important numbers. So it helps me now to look at it quickly. And I try and divide it into two sides. The left side is deal with the boys and the right side deal with the girls. So in that way, I don't mix numbers and my work will be a bit presentable. So 16.2 mean is equals to the total age divided by 18 using the formula for finding mean. So the mean is equals to the total divided by how many there are, which is 18. So if you take 18 to that side, to the left side, 16.2 times 18, it gives you 291.6. So the total age for the boys is 291.6. Let's go and see for the girls. The mean is 16.7 is equals to the total of their ages divided by 27 girls. So you take 27 to the left side, 16.7 times 27, it gives you 450.9. So that means the total of all the girls, ages of all the girls is 450.9. So what we want to do now is to find total of ages of boys and girls. So 291.6 for boys plus 450.9 for girls. That gives you a total of 742.5. So the mean age of all 45 boys and girls. The mean is given by the total. That means the total number of boys and girls age divided by how many boys and girls are in the school, which is 45. So 742.5 divided by 45, it gives you 16.5 years. There are some counters in the back. The counters are blue or green or red or yellow. The table shows the probabilities that the counter taken at random from the back will be blue or will be green. So color and probability. Probability of blue is 0.32. Probability of green is 0.20. Probability of red and yellow, we don't know. But we can call probability of yellow to be X and probability of red to be 5X. The probability that the counter taken at random from the back will be red is 5 times the probability that the counter will be yellow. So if yellow is X, red is 5 times X because the probability of red is 5 times. So if yellow is X, red is 5 times X. There are 300 counters in the back. Work out the number of yellow counters in the back. So we want to subtract from 1 because when you add all of that probability, they should be equals to 1. So 1 minus 0.32 minus 0.20 is 0.48. So what that means is 0.48 is what is left. So that 0.48 is for the red and for the yellow. So probability of red plus probability of yellow is that 0.48. But we know red is 5x because it's 5 times. and yellow is X, probability of yellow. So 5X plus X, it gives you 6X. So 6X equals to 0.48. It's times 6. If you take it to that side, it becomes, to the right-hand side, it becomes divided by 6. So X is 0.48 divided by 6. So X becomes 0.08. So the number of yellow counters in the back is given by the probability of yellow, which is 0.08, times the total number, which is there are 300 counters in the back. So that gives you 24. So work out the number of yellow counters in the back is 24 yellow counters in the back. The probability times the number gives you 24. Question number 9. The diagram shows a prism. The cross section of the prism has exactly one line of symmetry. Work out the volume of the prism. Give your answer correct to 3 significant figures. So there are some formulae which I'm going to use. And if you look on the top right hand side, you will see I've got the volume of a triangular prism is half base times height times the length. So the area of the cross section is a triangle times the length. And I'm going to use SOHCAHTOA as well. So I've put those formula there because we're going to use it to do this question. So first thing is to find the height of the triangle. If you look there, the height of the triangle, I've colored it put it in a red line. We'll use tangent because you have that little triangle there. We know the angle is 40 degrees. The adjacent is 5, 10 divided by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So we want to find that height. So we use tangent. Tangent of 40 is equals to the opposite, which is h divided by 5. Now to find the height, h, which is the opposite, using this trigonometry formula there, you cover the opposite is tangent of the angle times the adjacent. So the tangent of 40 times 5, which is the adjacent, it gives you the height, and that gives you 4.195 as the height of that triangle. So the volume of the prism is the volume of the top part, the yellow part at the top. We want to work out the volume is area of the triangle, half base times height, half times 10 times that 4.19 times 20 is the length. So the top part, the volume of the top prism plus the volume of the bottom prism. Volume of the bottom prism is a cuboid. So it's 12 times 10 times 20, length times width times height. So volume of the whole prism is volume of the top prism plus volume of the bottom prism. So that will give you 2,400 for the bottom prism, the cuboid, plus 419 for the triangular prism at the top. When you add the two together, it gives you 2,819, which to 3 significant figure, you can put a line after the 1 and change the 9 to 1 and add it to the 1, it becomes 2. So to 3 significant figure is 2,820. Question number 10. A person's heart rate beats approximately 10 to the 5 times each day. A person lives for approximately 81 years. Work out an estimate for the number of times a person's heart beats in their lifetime. Give your answer in standard form, correct to 2 significant figure. So 10 to the 5 times a day times 365 days in a year times 81 years. Because we want to work out an estimate, we can round 365 to 400 and we can round 81 to 100. So it will be 10 to the 5 times 400 times 100. So we've changed 65 to one significant figure, which is 400, 81 to one significant figure, or we round it to 100, because give your answer in standard form correct to two significant figure. So that will be 4,000 million. So it's 4.0 times 10 to the 9, because there's 9 zeros there. And sometimes you may use 360. You may round 365 to 360, or you may round 81 to 80. That gives you 288 and 366 with 7 zeros. So that will be 2.9 times 10 to the power 9. So you can do it that way, but the first time we did it, we had 4.0 times 10 to the power 9. That's how we can do that part. Part B says 2 times 10 to the 12 red blood cells have a total mass of 90 grams. Work out the average mass of one red blood cell. Give your answer in standard form. So you want to divide 90 divided by 2 times 10 to the 12. It would be 4.5. 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. So 4.5 times 10 to the minus 11. So the average mass of one red blood cell is 4.5 times 10 to the minus 11. So that's how you do question 10. And you can see what I did. I highlighted all the important numbers, and it helps me to see what I'm doing. So when you come back to check your work, if you were doing it in an exam condition, you come back to check your work, you can quickly see those numbers and then use them to check if your answer is correct. Question number 11. The diagram shows a triangle P on a grid. The triangle P is rotated 180 degrees about 0, 0 to give triangle Q. Triangle Q is translated by 5 minus 2 to give triangle R. Describe fully a single transformation that maps triangle P onto triangle Q. So if we start, it is a rotation of 180 degrees with the center 2.5 minus 1, or you can say it's an enlargement scale factor minus 1 and the center 2.5 minus 1. Now let's look at how we do that. Triangle P is rotated 180 degrees about center O to give Q. So we want to go from P to Q, and the center is O. So this is 180 degrees. This angle is 180 degrees. That's 180 degrees. So you're going from P to Q, you rotate it, put the center there, you use a tracing paper, hold it in the middle there, rotate this 180 degrees, you get to this one. You can do it anti-clockwise or you do it clockwise. You can do it clockwise or you do it anti-clockwise. It's 180 degrees, you will still get to that point. And when it gets to the point Q, it is translated 5 and minus 2. Plus 5 means you move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Minus 2 means you move it 1, 2 down. That's what happens. Plus 5 and minus 2. Okay, let me try to animate it for you to see. So if you watch this carefully, if you blink, you might miss it. I have got the shape there. I want to rotate it 180 degrees clockwise. So if I rotate it 180 degrees clockwise, I rotate it like that, and it comes to that position. And that is where it would be. Can you see that? So I rotate it 180 degrees clockwise. So this is it there. you rotate it 180 degrees clockwise. Now, after you have rotated it 180 degrees clockwise, and you've got it to this point, you translate it 5 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 2 down. 1, 2. It gets to that point there. That's what you do. You translate it 5 to the right, and so I've colored it blue so you can see it. If it was down here, 5 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 down. 1, 2. It gets to that point arrow. But when it was up here before, it was like so. You rotate it clockwise, and that's clockwise, and that is where it would fall, because the center of rotation was 0, 0. So that is how you do that question. And the part C says, part B, write down the coordinates of the point A under the transformation that maps P to R. The point A is invariant. The point which is invariant is this point there, 2.5 minus 1. So 2.5 minus 1. So if you use 2.5 minus 1 as the center, if you use 2.5 minus 1 as the center of rotation, you would go from P to R, which is a rotation of 180 degrees with that center, and you go from P to R using that center. So you go from P to R using that center of 2.5 minus 1, and that's the point which does not change. The invariant point does not change, and so the coordinate is 2.5 minus 1. Question number 12. Express x over x plus 2 plus 2x over x minus 4 as a single fraction and in simplest form. So these two fractions, you join them together, they become one fraction, and then you simplify it. First thing, we want to look for the LCM, lowest common multiple. And we can use x plus 2 and x minus 4 as the lowest common multiple. So that is your LCM, lowest common multiple. So we would multiply 2x with x plus 2, and we'll multiply x with x minus 4. And we'll put that all over the lowest common multiple. Now the next thing is we remove the bracket. 2x times x, it gives you 2x squared. 2x times 2 gives you 4x. Plus x times x gives you x squared. X times minus 4 gives you minus 4x. So the numerator, if you look at that numerator there, the one in yellow, 2x squared plus x squared, it gives you 3x squared. So you add the ones in yellow because x squared and x squared are like terms. So 2x squared plus x squared gives you 3x squared. Now 4x minus 4x is 0. 4x minus 4x is 0. So the numerator is now 3x squared. The denominator is x minus 4, x plus 2. You can leave it like that, or you can remove the bracket in the denominator by using FOIL. First, x times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. Minus 4 times x is minus 4x. Minus 4 times 2 is minus 8. And the minus 2x plus the 2x plus minus 4x gives minus 2x. So you can leave it like that or like that. Part B, expand and simplify x minus 3 times 2x plus 3 times 4x plus 5. This is a trinomial because there's 3 things. 1, 2, 3. There's 3 things to multiply. I will start by multiplying the first 2, get the answer, and then multiplying it with the third one. So you need a lot of space for that so that you don't make a mistake and you can check your work easily. So let's multiply the first two. X times 2x is 2x squared. X times 3 is 3x. Minus 3 times 2x is minus 6x. And minus 3 times 3 is minus 9. We collect like terms. 3x minus 6x is minus 3x. So you have 2x squared minus 3x minus 9. Now we have to multiply that by the last one, which is that last term, which is 4x plus 5. So try and follow these lines. 2x squared times 4x, it gives you 8x cubed, because 2 times 4 is 8. X squared times x squared times x is like x to the power 1. 2 plus 1 is 3, so it gives you x cubed. So 2x squared times 4x is 8x cubed. 2x squared times 5. 2 times 5 is 10, so it gives you 10x squared. Minus 3x times 4x is minus 12x squared. Minus 3x times 5 is minus 15x. Now we go to the 9. Minus 9 times 4x is minus 36x. And minus 9 times 5 is minus 45. Now you collect the like terms. 10x squared minus 12x squared, because they all have x squared. So 10x squared minus 12x squared, it gives you minus 2x squared. Minus 15x minus 36x, it gives you minus 51x. So your answer is 8x cubed minus 2x squared minus 51x minus 45. And that's the answer you get when you multiply it. And when you do this, make sure you put a lot of space and write neatly, so that when you want to check your work, you can easily see where you made a mistake. So that's one of the important things to consider when you do this type of question. Question number 13. On the grid, show by shading the region that satisfy all these inequalities. The first inequality is x is greater than or equals to 0. The next one is x less than or equals to 2. The next one is y less than or equals to x plus 3. The next one is 2x plus 3y is greater than or equals to 6. When you see a question like this, just say to yourself, you want to draw 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. There are 4 lines you want to draw. So you start by looking at the first one. X is greater than or equals to 0. First of all, draw the line x equals to 0. The line x equals to 0 is actually the y-axis. This red line there. X equals to 0 is the y-axis. And the greater than or equal to, it means it includes the y-axis. So you use a solid line. If it was just greater than, you will use a dotted line. So the greater than or equals to means you use a solid line. You go to the next line, x is less than or equals to 2. First of all, you draw the line x equals to 2. X is equals to 2 is this blue line. And you draw a solid line, x equals to 2. The next line, y is equals to x plus 3. You can work out some values. For example, when x is 0, y is 3. When x is 2, 2 plus 3 is 5, y is 5. You draw the line y is equals to x plus 3. That is this green line. And then a solid line because it's less than or equals to. The next line, number 4, the fourth line you have to draw is 2x plus 3y is greater than or equals to 6. What you can do is you can take this line, rearrange it to make y the subject. If you look at the bottom here, rearrange it to make y the subject. So if you minus 2x from both sides, so it'll be minus 2x plus 6, and you divide by 3. So you get y on its own by minus 2x and divide by 3. So y is greater than or equals to minus 2x divided by 3x. Minus 2x divided by 3 plus 6 divided by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So you can write it as y greater than or equals to minus 2x over 3 plus 2. The minus means it's a line which is sloping down. That means you can see the line sloping down from right to left. You can work out some coordinates to plot it. Put x is 0. If x is 0, this would be 0, y would be 2. So 0, 2 is one of the points. 0, 2, you mark that point there. And you can put 3. If x is 3, 3 times minus 2 over 3, the 3 will cancel. Minus 2 plus 2 is 0. The next point is 3, 0. So you got those, you draw the straight line. So you've got that line y equals to minus 2 over 3x plus 2. So you've got your 4 lines. Now let's look at the shading. The shading is the part which you have to really think well that you want the part that satisfies all 4 of them. So what you want to do is shade the part you don't want. That would be another way, so that it's easier to find it at the end. So let's look at x bigger than 0. The part we don't want is the one behind here, because those are the part which is smaller than 0. So we don't want this part at the back. For the next one, x is less than or equals to 2. We don't want the part which is bigger. We want the part which is smaller. So we are shading the part we do not want. We do not want this part. We want the part which is smaller than 2. For the line, the green line, y is less than or equals to x plus 3. We want the part which is below, so we don't want the part which is above. So we do not want the part which is above. Shade what we don't want. And for the last one, y is greater than or equals to, so we want the part which is above, but we don't want the part which is below. So when you do that, what will be left is this yellow part in the middle. And that yellow part, we can call it, the region is called R, and that's the part which they want us to label after we have shaded them. So shade the parts you don't want, and what is left unshaded is the region. For part B, the diagram shows the region S that satisfies the inequality. Geoffrey says that the point with coordinates 2, 4 does not satisfy all the inequalities because it does not lie in the shaded region. Is Geoffrey correct? You must give a reason for your answer. So y is less than or equals to 4, y is greater than or equals to half x, and x plus y is less than or equals to 6. They represent these 3 lines. So the shaded region is in the middle there, S. Let's mark the point 2, 6. 2 to the right, 2, 4. So the point 2, 4 actually is on the line, on one of the lines. 2, 4 is on the line x plus y is less than 6. So 2, 4 does satisfy. If you put x is 2 and y is 4, 2 plus 4 is less than or equals to 6, which is correct. So 2, 4 lies on the boundary of the region, satisfying the inequality. So that's how you do all of question 13. Question number 14. Points B, D, E, and F lie on a circle. ABC is the tangent to the circle at B. Find the size of angle ABD. You must give a reason for each stage of your working. I have colored the angle ABD in yellow so we can see the angle we want. So DBF. DBF is equals to 80 because the two opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral, these two angles add up to 180. So 180 minus 100, it gives you 80. That's why this angle is 80. Angle BFD. BFD is 60 degrees because 180, this triangle, so 180 minus 40 minus 80, it gives you 60. So we're using this triangle. Angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees, and that's the reason we're using. Angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees, and that's the triangle there. Angle CBF. CBF is 40. This angle is 40. CBF is 40 degrees. And the reason is alternate segment. This angle is 40. This angle is 40. This is alternate segment theorem. So this one is 40. This one is also 40. We're using alternate segment theorem. Now, angle ABD. This is a straight line. It says it's a straight line. So angle ABD is 180 minus 80 and minus 40. It gives you 60. So ABD is 60 because it says ABC is the tangent to the circle at B, and the tangent is a straight line. So those are the how you work out those angles, and using these reasons at the bottom, you must give a reason for each stage. So first, opposite angles in cyclic quadrilateral, 1, 2, 3, 4 is inside a circle. So they call it cyclic quadrilaterals. Opposite angles add up to 180 degrees, 80 plus 100. Angles in this triangle add up to 180 degrees. That's the triangle there. An alternate segment theorem, this angle 40, this angle 40. That's how you do that question. Question number 15. Prove algebraically that 0.73, the 3 is recurring, can be written as 11 over 15. So we can write 10 times x is equals to 10 times 7.33333. So 10 times 73333. That will give you 7.3333 recurring. And if we have x is equals to 0.7 and the recurring 3333. So it's 0.7 and the recurring 3333. And 10 times that will give you 7 point, the recurring 3333. Now you want to subtract minus. The 3 minus the 3 is 0. 3 minus 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 7, this cannot go. You take 1 and add there, becomes 13. 13 take away 7 is 6. And you're left here with 6. 6 take away 0 is 6. So you get 6.6. 10x take away 1x, it gives you 9x. So 9x is equals to 6.6. What do you times by 9? 9 times something gives 6.6. So the opposite of times 9 is divide by 9. So you take that to that side. So x is 6.6 divided by 9. 6.6 divided by 9. If you put that in your calculator, it will give you 11 over 15. Without a calculator, you can times the top by 10, times the bottom by 10, so that you get rid of the decimal. So it will be 66 divided by 90. And 66 divided by 6 is 11. 90 divided by 6 is 15. That gives you 11 over 15 as required to show. Question number 16. Here is a speed time graph for a car. The speed is on the y-axis and the time is on the x-axis. Work out an estimate for the distance the car traveled in the first 30 seconds. So to find an estimate for the distance, find an estimate for the area under the curve for the first 30 seconds. So under the curve for the first 30 seconds, that shape we can approximate it to be a triangle. And what's the formula to find area of a triangle? Half times the base times the height. Area is half times base times the height. So if the base is 30 and the height is 9, so half times 30 times 9. Half of 30 is 15. Half times the base is 30 times 9. So we can use the calculator. And when you work that out, you would get 135. Is your answer to part A an underestimate or overestimate of the actual distance the car traveled in the first 30 seconds? Give a reason for your answer. Underestimate means, is it smaller? Overestimate, is it bigger? If we look at the graph, when I zoom into the graph, you can see the triangle there, and there's this little part in green which we didn't take into account. So we didn't use the whole thing. We missed this part in green. So we are below, we are not above, because we didn't use that part, that green part there. So we are below. The word we would use for that is, it is an underestimate, because the area between the triangle and the curve is not included. That little green area there, that little green area is not included. So it's an underestimate. Julian used the graph to answer this question. Work out an estimate for the acceleration of the car at time 60 seconds. Here is Julian's working. Acceleration is speed divided by time, 13 divided by 60, and they get 0.216 recurring meters per second squared. Julian's method does not give a good estimate of the acceleration at time 60 seconds. Explain why. So the method that Julian used, it gives average acceleration in the first 60 seconds. That's what they've got, 13 divided by 60. He has not used or drawn a tangent at the time 60 seconds. Or he has not worked out the gradient at the time 60 seconds. So to work out the acceleration at the time 60 seconds, you need to draw a tangent and work out the gradient, instead of doing what they call an average acceleration using the formula. Question 17. The histogram gives information about the distance 80, the distances 80 competitors jumped in a long jump competition. Frequency density is in the y-axis, distance in meters in the x-axis. Calculate an estimate for the mean distance. So want an estimate for the mean distance. So the way we do it, we want to find all the frequencies. So 7.2 minus 6.4 times 10, because that height there is 10. The frequency is the area of that rectangle there. So the length times the width. The height is 10 and the width is 7.2 minus 6.4, and that will give us 8. We go to the next one. 7.6 minus 7.2 times that height, which is 50. So that gives us the area. So 7.6 minus 7.2 times 50 is 20, and that frequency is 20. So this one is 8, this one is 20. The next one, 8.0 minus 7.6 times 100 is length times width, would give us 40. So this tall one is 40. The next one is 8.2. Between 8.0 and 8.4 is 8.2. So that's 8.2. 8.2 minus 8 times the height is 60. Multiply that by 60, it gives you 12. Now, to estimate the mean, we would use the number which is in the middle. The middle of 6.4 and 7.2 is 6.8, because an estimate, we choose 6.8. So 6.8 times 8. The next one, the middle between 7.2 and 7.6 is 7.4. So use 7.4 times 20. The next one, we'll choose the middle one, and it's the blue line between 7.6 and 8.0. The middle one is 7.8. So we'll use 7.8 times 40. And we will choose the middle between 8.0 and 8.2. And the middle is 8.1. So 8.1 times 12. Now we want to add how many they are all together. So it's 8 plus 20 plus 40 plus 12. And when we do that and we divide, you'll get your mean to be 7.645. So your estimate for the mean is 7.645. So remember, you work out the area to get the frequency, the area of each of these rectangular bars to get the frequency, and the area is the length times the width, or the class width times the frequency density. And then when we want to estimate the mean, we choose the value in the middle. Add the two numbers at the end, divide by 2. So I represent them with that blue line. The blue lines there represent the middle value. Question number 18. The diagram shows a cube. AH is equals to 11.3 centimeters correct to the nearest millimeters. Calculate the lower bound for the length of an edge of the cube. You must show all your working. So we can look at Pythagoras in 3D. If you have Pythagoras in 3D, look at the formula on the top right, which I've put there for you to help you. So it says if a rectangular prism has length L, width W, height H, and diagonal D, then the following formula holds. So the square of the diagonal is equal to the square of the length plus the square of the width plus the square of the height. So that Pythagoras formula is very important to remember. That formula holds and we can use it. So what we want to do now is we have 11.3, we put it there in the middle. What number do we round up to get 11.3? We can round up 11.25 to get 11.3. Or we can round down 11.3499999, or we can just say 11.35 to get 11.3. So for the square of the length of a diagonal, because that is a square, all the sides are A. So that side is A, that side is A, that side is A. So to get that diagonal, we are using the same 3D Pythagoras, but this length is A, the width is A, and the height is A. So we have A squared plus A squared plus A squared. So it's 3A squared. 1 apple plus 1 apple plus 1 apple. That's like 3 apples. So 3A squared is equals to 11.25 squared, because we are using the lower bound. It says calculate the lower bound. So we use 11.25 because that's the lower bound. 11.25 squared. We want to solve this equation. We want to remove times 3. If we take it to the right side, it becomes divide by 3. Times 3 becomes divide by 3. So A squared is 11.25 squared divided by 3. This is all done in your calculator, and that would give you A to be 6.495190528. So that's how you show your working to do that type of question. Question number 19. A, B, C, D, E, F is a regular hexagon with sides of length X. This hexagon is enlarged center F by scale factor P to give hexagon FGHIJK. Show that the area of the shaded region in the diagram is given by 3 root 3 over 2 bracket P squared minus 1 all times X squared. So we have a hexagon, a regular. That means every side is X, 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 X. All the sides are the same because it is regular. And that means you would form, if you form these triangles in there, those triangles are equilateral triangles. The angles are all 60 degrees. This is a formula for the area of a hexagon for those of you who may have seen it before, but you don't really have to remember this formula for this question, but it's just there. If you had done questions where you use it before, that's the formula for area of a hexagon, 3 root 3 over 2 times t squared. So we want to find area of A, B, C, D, E, F. Now we want to find the area of that equilateral triangle. To find the area of a triangle, given the sides, it's half times the two sides times sine of the angle between them, and that angle is 60. So half times x times sine 60. And because there are 6 triangles, we will multiply it by 6. So 6 times half times x times sine 60. And that will give us this 3 root 3 over 2 x squared. It's the same like what I showed you before, the formula for what I showed you before. So now we want to find the area of the enlarged shape, FGHIJK. Area of the equilateral triangle is half times, because we've enlarged it, we can call the enlargement factor P. So it's not, the length is not X anymore. The length is PX because P is a factor, scale factor. So the length is now PX times PX times the angle is still 60 degrees. So when you multiply that out, you will get root 3 over 4 P squared X squared. But because there are 6 triangles in the big shape as well, the big hexagon has got 6 triangles, you multiply by 6. When you multiply by 6, 6 would divide by 2, it become 3, and 4 divided by 2 would become 2. So you get 3 root 3 over 2 P squared X squared. And you can bring the P squared in front, and you can write P squared times root 3 over 2 times X squared. And if you look at this answer and look at this here, you will notice its difference. It's 3 root 3 over 2 x squared. There's 3 root 3 over 2 x squared. All that is different is this scale factor there, P squared, the area scale factor. So the area of the shaded region is equals to the area of the large hexagon minus the area of the small hexagon. So the area of the large hexagon is this, P squared times 3 root 3 over 2 x squared minus area of the small hexagon, 3 root 3 over 2 x squared. So this 3 root 3 over 2 x squared is the same like this 3 root 3. So this is common factor. It comes out of the bracket. And you're left with P squared inside, and you're left with 1 because this is like times 1. The 1 stays inside. Hence, you have shown the formula. So to summarize, you want the area of the big hexagon minus the area of the small hexagon, and that will give you the shaded area. And in order to get the area of the hexagon, you find the area of one triangle, times it by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same for the big hexagon. If you divide it, you can divide it into triangles, and you will find the area of one triangle and times it by 6 to get it for the 6 of them. and then you would factorize the common factor, and that would give you that answer. So you will use the formula half times x times sine 60 for the small hexagon, and use the same formula for the big hexagon, but you are changing the x because now it is px. It has been enlarged. And afterwards you factorize and you get your answer as required to show. Question number 20. Here is a list of 5 numbers: 98 to the power 53, 98 to the power 64, 98 to the power 73, 98 to the power 88, 98 to the power 91. Find the lowest common multiple of these 5 numbers. The lowest common multiple would be that biggest number there, because all of these are all 98 at the bottom, and it's like 98 times 98 times 98 times 98. So the numbers which are bigger will be a multiple of the ones below. So the lowest common multiple would be the biggest number of them, which is 98 to the power 91. And you need to write it clearly. See, the 91 is at the top there, the 98 is at the bottom. So it makes it clear. Number 21. 5c plus d is equals to c plus 4d. Find the ratio c is to d. What we want to do is we want to put c on one side and d on one side. So we can put all the c on the left and all the d on the right. So if we take this plus c to the left, it becomes minus c. So 5c minus c. We take the plus d to the right, it becomes minus. So it's 4d minus d. 5c minus c gives you 4c, and 4d minus d gives you 3d. Now we can divide both sides by d. If you divide by d there, divide by d there, this would cancel. So it will be 4c over d is equals to 3. Now if we divide both sides by 4, so 4 will cancel there, it will be 3 divided by 4. So c over d is 3 over 4, which is like 3:4. Part B says 6x squared is equals to 7xy plus 20y squared, where x is greater than 0 and y is greater than 0. Find the ratio x is to y. We can do it one way, where we can take the 7xy to the left and the 20y squared to the left. So that'll give us 6x squared minus 7xy minus 20y squared equals to 0. And if you factorize, it gives you 2x minus 5y and 3x plus 4y equals to 0. So 2x minus 5y equals to 0. That means 2x, take the minus 5 to that side, is equals to 5y. 2x divided by 5 by y is equals to 5. And after that, we divide by 2. So x over y is equals to 5 over 2. 3x plus 4y equals to 0. If we take 4y to the other side, it becomes minus 4y. And we cannot solve that. We cannot have negative ratio. So that one is ignored. And you can write x over y. You can write it as x is to y as 5:2. That would be the ratio. Another way to look at this is you can divide both sides, all of them, by y squared. So 6x squared divided by y squared, 7xy divided by y squared, minus 20y squared divided by y squared equals to 0. So you take 7xy to the left, this to the left, and divide. After that, you divide by y squared. So 6xy over y squared, you can write it as x over y all squared times 6. 1y will cancel 1y there. You have 7x over y. And the y squared would cancel there. You got minus 20 is equals to 0. If you replace xy with p, so instead of x over y, you put p. So 6p squared minus 7p minus 20 equals to 0. You can solve this in your calculator, and that would give you p to be 5 over 2 and p to minus 4 over 3. Since we don't use negative, we will use the 5 over 2. So that means replace p is x over y. So x over y equals to 5 over 2. So x is to y is the same as 5 is to 2. And when you want to solve the quadratic, use your Casio ClassFish calculator. You put the value there for p, for one of the values there, and you'll get the answer as 5 over 2. And that's how you use your calculator to solve it, to get 5 over 2 for one of the values for p.